Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this one, I want to talk a little bit about Blizzard's trend, and it's been around a while. I think it's been around like 3 years or so now. But Blizzard's trend of these 6-month mounts. So basically these like 6-month subscription mounts that obviously a lot of the times are incentive for players to kind of like really get into like the game and really kind of like obviously buy a 6-month subscription. Now how it works is pretty straightforward. So if you purchase a 6-month sub, you will get the Charming Courier mount for modern, along also with a pet for Cataclysm Classic. So you can see here, if you already have a 6 or 12 month, obviously then you get it anyway. So one thing I will respect is that for people who are on the 6 or 12 month plans, they obviously give it to them straight away. I think this is pretty good. But the thing for this with me, like I'm someone who I've had a sub for years now. Probably I think 3 or 4 years straight I've had a sub. And yeah, I mean I don't do 6-month plans. The reason they do these 6-month plans is for their own kind of bottom line in terms of accounting, in terms of financial performance. By opting for the 6-month plan, you get a hemorrhage, like an upfront in terms of money, and this reflects a lot better for them in terms of investors and that. Basically, it's recognition of the income in advance. The thing is, for me, what it does is it creates a little bit of an unhealthy environment where players then feel pressured. Monthly sub MMOs are already very pressured environments that cause players to feel the need to play the game. Like most times if a player has a sub, 9 times out of 10 they'll sit in the evening, maybe don't feel like logging in, maybe don't feel like playing, just for that evening, maybe they're having a downtime and there's immediate pressure to log in for an hour or two to play the game. I know that technically it's not a FOMO thing because the mounts do become available on the store. So if you go to the store, you can buy the mounts that have been previous options on the store. I think one of the previous ones was the Silverian Dreamer. I know the Dreadwake has also been one of the mounts, and this I believe was just added in to the in-game trading post. So I know the Dreadwake was recently added in there. But yeah, basically they've added in a whole bunch of these mounts. Obviously as kind of options, I think the Silverian Dreamer was one. And then the Nethergorge Great Worm is the other one. And then there's the Wondrous Wave Whisker, which is the second to last latest one, which does not show here. Or maybe I'm just missing. Oh, there we go. The Wondrous Wave Whisker. So, like, it's not a FOMO thing, because technically you can always pick these mounts up at another time. It's more just like an incentive to go with the 6-month sub. But for me, like, it's just a practice that I'm not really a huge fan of. I don't like things that really pressure players into financial decisions that they may or may not want to make at any given time. I think it's just not something that's good, to be honest with you. Like, I think ultimately for me it's just something that kind of ruins the game or applies an unnecessary amount of pressure for the game that I think it doesn't need, considering the already innate pressure that a sub kind of adds into the game. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to talk about because, like, for me, these things didn't always exist. I mean, 2018 was the first time we had the 6-month subscription, like, bundle bonus. So it's not something that's existed forever, but it just appears to be something that's developed kind of like along this line to continue to incentivize players to, pay up front. This is obviously to tie players in for longer term. create an incentive for players to stick around with the game and to keep player numbers up during shallow periods. If everyone buys a 6-month sub, they don't have to log in, their sub is still active. I think for me, it's a situation where I kind of want to say, although I understand the practice, I think it's just something that's not necessary and puts unwanted pressure on players that do already pay for the game. I think you need the freedom to cancel your sub, like at any given time. And when you pay up front for all these things, when there's different discounts and pricing bonuses, I think it's just uncool business practice. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to talk about because I noticed they brought out yet another one. And although I think the mount is super duper cool, I would much prefer these mounts be in-game options, things that you can get, rather than being essentially glorified piggy bank things. I think a lot of the times the in-store shop does this, and I've spoken about the in-store shop before and how it affects players, but for me, I definitely think in this case, the pressure it creates financially is also not so cool. That's it from me. Bye.